go to open homes as
like
much.
$1,000 a
cover, which is yung
ang maipapayo.
And what is the implication?
So with kaya nga or
This thing and this thing, hindi talaga siya binahin for your Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Home Buying Tips in New Zealand. We're already on our 54th, I think, 54th episode. And I'm Juvie of Grow Yourself. And today we're diving into something a little bit different, but still equally powerful. By the way, I'll be by myself again tonight because, Marianne, hopefully you'll feel better soon. She has COVID again. But we look forward to seeing Marianne one more time next week to join us. We just wish her to feel better because she mentioned she has very weird symptoms. Because I know previously she had it as well, but then she was feeling fine. Yeah. But yeah, Marianne, looking forward to seeing you again next week. And I hope you'll feel way better next week after your week of rest. So have a good rest then. All right, here we go. Manifesting your first home. This is our topic tonight. And I know it may sound a bit out there to some. Actually, it sounds common already to me. And we've even mentioned this last week during our session with Regine, the coach that we have invited to help us manage the home buying stress. So that's why we've come up with this manifesting, because many probably from many walks of life may not know about this and may probably don't fully understand what this really means. But of course, feel free to reach out, leave a comment if you are watching right now or wherever you are watching from. Let us know what your goals are. What is manifesting? Manifesting. What does manifesting mean to you? I think I've just heard of this manifesting like a couple of years ago, and when you're on social media and you watch a reel or a video, say on YouTube, and then because of the algorithm, many of similar videos that you've watched will pop up on your screen and you will be interested to watch it as well. And that's why I got to know more. And sometimes I don't agree with other people's definition of it, but they also make sense though. And now I would like to try to maybe try to explain it in a way that I have experienced myself, right? So I said, it's really interesting how we can change our mindset and align our intentions to our goals and do the actions so that our dreams will become a reality. And as they say, what you focus on expands. So let's focus on how we can expand our vision of owning our first home. I actually have my first home already, but probably for you, how you can own your first home. And this is actually something achievable, especially here in New Zealand. In the Philippines, I just got my home because of my parents. They left their place, they left it to me. And so, yeah, that's how I got my place. But here in New Zealand, we really work hard without the help and support of families back home. It's just purely us couple who work hard to achieve this. So if we're able to, that means to say you can too. So I'll be giving you some tips on some steps actually on how you can manifest your first home here in New Zealand or wherever you are in the world. I'm just not 100% sure if it's similar to New Zealand's system of acquiring homes. But we've been talking about this for a year already. We've been having this live podcast on home buying tips for a year, 54 episodes. So that means a year now. So if you go back to our playlists on home buying tips, on Grow Yourself in New Zealand YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the different topics that we have discussed and talked about with the experts, with people who have ideas about many things in relation to home buying here in New Zealand. So I'll be sharing the top 5 ways. I'm going to relate it to my experience, obviously, on how we manifested our first home. So these are really practical steps that you can start today, even if you feel far from your goal. Maybe you just moved to New Zealand and you are still looking for a teaching job, or you're still on your work visa and you're not sure, there are still things that we've done years before we acquired our home and we didn't know that actually help us get our home. So stay tuned and you'll be able to learn more. Actually, grab a notebook if you have a notebook there, or you have your phone, take note on your phone and get comfortable. And let's start the first way to manifest your dream home. When talking about dream home, for me, it's not a dream home, but at least a first home. Because let's think about it this way: when we first have our home, the rent and the repayments is just somewhat similar. So it's like, instead of paying the rent that goes to the mortgage of someone else, why should I not just top up a little bit more to pay for our own mortgage? And after a few years, or at the end of our lives, we have our home that we can leave for our kids, or we can decide to sell our home. Hopefully, we've got more likely, especially after years of living here, and the houses, the lots actually, the land appreciates, then we can earn something out of it, compared to just renting where you don't get anything actually in return. Right? Even if you go for a holiday, you still pay for the rent. You don't say, oops, hold it up a bit because we're having a holiday, we don't get paid. No, you can't do that here. Once you're, unless you take out all your stuff and leave the property clean, and then come back, and you will have to look for another house. Of course, that will take time and it's not easy peasy. So let's move on to the first one. First thing that we did was, let me just um, share the title, by the way. So we are talking about home buying tips in New Zealand. So again, if you're watching right now and if you've been following, you're learning from it, from our live podcast every week, let us know. We'll be happy to. That is actually an encouragement to us to keep going. And I know I've been getting some messages and even a call from friends who are watching, who have been following the page, have been learning a lot from us. And we're really thankful. Sometimes I can share the conversation, sometimes I can't, because it's a talk, right? It's just a call. Hang on a minute. The first, let me go back. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. I was just scrolling up and down, and all of a sudden, I got, uh, I was out of the screen. Oh, no. Anyway, home buying tips in New Zealand. And here we go. The first one would be visualize your home. Doesn't have to be an ideal home, but you're visualizing that you're living in your home. So I tell you this, when we first moved to New Zealand, we were just, of course, in the beginning, we were just in the farm. It's free of rent, right? So we were very thankful about that. But we took care of the home. Actually, that was just a room. We took care of it as if it was our own. So it's like we're visualizing, we're feeling like it's our own, looking after it. And that's why em- not employers, property managers, or even property owners love to have Filipinos as tenants, because a lot of Filipinos really look after the homes and the homes that they are renting. So that's one way of visualizing. You feel like it's your own home, even if you're just actually renting it. And that's what I did. I look after the homes that we went to. In fact, I was even beautifying the garden, and I love gardening. While I was gardening, I was imagining that I was tilling my own property and imagining the kind of plants that I'm going to plant. Of course, I was already doing it. So it's not just visualizing it, like imagining it as yours, but at the same time, how do I say it this way? I was doing it, and at the same time, I was imagining that it was my own. So let's just make it simple. And when we were looking specifically for a home, like near buying our own, we were already having in mind what we need, what we want to have. So, of course, the garden, we need to have that one. So, we talked it out, my husband and I, and we needed the number of rooms, at least three or more. Toilet, it doesn't matter so long as we have at least one. And not specifically with the size or whatever, because the big factor for us to be able to avail to buy a home is the price, of course. But like what I've said, even before, and we were just renting, we look after the house well, we were imagining it was our own. We were even praying that, the property owner will decide to have us, how do you say it? Will sell to us the home and we will be paying it instead of our rent. It's a repayment. So it was just that imagination. It starts from there. That's the plan. And the next step, the next step that we did, visualizing was the first one. The next step was, of course, setting clear financial goals. We did tidy up our bank statements. Not really tidy up because I think we were not that a very expensive family. We go out, but not quite often. I would say maybe once or twice a month. And when we go out, we don't buy very expensive food or clothing or whatsoever. Sometimes we just go shopping, and usually we will just buy, takeaways that are cheap, like maybe McDonald's once a month or twice a month. Not really going to the expensive restaurant. Just recently, now that my two kids are able to help in the bills, and so we are able to avail a little bit expensive food, but very seldom, maybe 4 times a year when we celebrate our birthday. Yep. So that's setting your financial goals, making sure that you don't spend more than you earn. That's how we live our lives before and even up to now. Because the bank can see that if you are spending more, then it's actually not a good record to them. If you're always having a overdraft, not so good. Plus, there's also a fee for that. Next one, when you're saying, oh, I think I'm going to explain this one later on. And yes, setting clear financial goals also doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to avoid debt. In fact, when we had our first car loan, it actually helped boost our credit score. So when you say credit score, it's your debt in the past, and it proves that, say, for example, you avail this loan and you're able to pay it um, on time. Then it gives you a high credit score. It gives them an assurance that you're a good payer. But if you don't have any loans, because we were trying to avoid that before, because we don't want to have debts. We are not used to that. That's why I've just said our first loan was our car loan because we needed a car anyway. And we tried to earn money to pay the car with the full amount straight away. But then we realized somebody advised us that we need to have a credit score. And so that's how we started. We just availed a loan. We paid it on time. And before it ends, we actually paid it instead of 2 years. We had an agreement to pay it off in 2 years' time. But around 1.5 year, I think we paid it off. So it's also not good that you will pay off your loan as soon as possible, because I know banks are earning from the interest that you're paying them. So at least when you have an agreement, you can probably definitely pay before it ends, but at least pay on time and don't pay it as soon as possible. Try not to do that so that your credit score is good. In fact, just recently, last year, I got a bad credit score because I avoided paying one of my petty debt, 100 something, because of a dispute that I made. And it took me a while, and then I was forced to just pay it off because we were planning to buy a second home. But long story short, the record is still there. So watch out. They can't just delete that one, even if you've already paid your your loan. All right, moving on. That's number two. Let's have number three. Create a vision board. I keep on hearing this actually. But for me, I don't actually have a vision board, but I visualize it. And usually when I come home, I look at my house, and that's just my vision board. The house that we've been renting, when I do my gardening, I just look at it and I imagine the locations of the plants, where the stuff will be, my furnitures. That's how I visualize. I feel it, I imagine it, and yeah, that's my vision board for me. I don't specifically have like a board where I can see the type of house that I would like to have. I didn't have that. We didn't have that. But probably for other people, they have it. So go for it. If it works for you, it will work for you. But for me, maybe I should try having that for my next home, my ideal home, because this one is not really a dream home, but at least it's our first home. Right. Easy peasy, right? What will be our the ideal house with a pool? But I'm having a second thought of that because the maintenance of cleaning the pool is not easy. So nah, maybe not. Anyway, moving on. Let's gonna do this fast because I'm by myself. Anyway, number four is practice gratitude for what you have now. And even back years back, I was thankful that I'm in New Zealand. That's very the very first thing that I'm grateful for, because I know life in the Philippines, my life in the Philippines was not easy. It's not as hard as others, but I know it's not easy as well. Didn't have our own home, living with the parents. So, yeah. And here we lived on our own. So we became so independent, my husband and I. And we're thankful of the opportunities that New Zealand has given us, has provided us. So that's number one gratitude that I am always thinking of. And of course, when we were renting the home, we were just thankful, even though sometimes it can get expensive. We're thankful for our weekly pay. We're thankful for our good health, and even the free education, free medical or dental checkup for kids. There are many frees in New Zealand, although technically it's not totally free because it's been taken from our taxes anyway. But then, come to think of it, in the Philippines, I wasn't able to enjoy that. We didn't enjoy many free stuff. Well, probably the free house when you're living with your parents, then, yep, that's free. But think about the things that you are thankful for when you want to manifest your home. Don't just ask for more and more and then you set aside the things that you have. Be thankful of your family. Be thankful for your family who are inspiring you, for your friends who are giving you a lot of ideas, for now the internet. Be thankful for that and make use of it to learn more, to grow more. And what else should you be thankful for? Your job, probably. It may be hard, but think of those people who are still looking for a job. Be thankful for your colleagues. They may not be perfect. Sometimes they may be grumpy or may criticize you or give you feedback on your work, but it will help you grow. So just be thankful for that. And maybe some people are not so, what do you call this? Even if the house that you are now in may not be the perfect one, not so beautiful or not so presentable, but be thankful that you have a home that may be a little bit cheaper than the others. When we moved to another home, when we were renting here in Auckland, because it's very expensive, we looked for a cheaper one, and it's not as big as the previous one that we had, but we were thankful it's a little bit cheaper and we were able to save more. So that's leading us to the last step, which is take inspired action towards your goal. Inspired action like save, because I don't know how we were able to buy our first home if we didn't save, right? If we control ourselves from spending a lot when going out. So if we can just go out and bring our own food and go sit down on the in the park probably for a quick picnic, that'll do. You don't have to go to an expensive place and spend a lot, because the money that you can save proves that you're a good payer, you're a good saver, and you'll be able to achieve more. Take inspired action. Don't just listen, take action. Whatever you hear there, don't just enjoy it at the moment. Instead, take action straight away. I like doing that. And to be honest, I'm not perfect, but when I try to focus on whatever things that I hear or I see, even if I know I'm expecting for more, I stop right there. If it's a video or a podcast or what I'm reading, I stop, reflect, and think of how can I do it now? Take action straight away if you can. And don't delay it, because, say, for example, save and you delay it. I'm going to save next week. I'm going to save starting next year, next month, say, for example. It's the same with your physical health. I'm going to start exercising next week. And then the next week doesn't come. So it's up to you. All of the things that I've mentioned, actually, the visualizing, the setting your clear financial goals, creating a vision board, practicing gratitude. If you don't take action, do you think something will happen to your life? For me, I don't think something might have happened. Another thing might have happened if I didn't take action. So whether I take action now, or let's just say if I didn't take an action before, or I did take an action, there is still something that's going to happen for you now. If you're going to take an action, something will definitely happen. If you don't take an action, something will surely happen as well. So I would just say, take action. Okay. So whatever you are hearing from me right now, I hope you're learning and you'll take action, because at the end of the day, nothing can really move you unless you move yourself. So there you have it. 5 powerful ways to start manifesting your first home. Remember, manifesting is about setting your intention, being clear about your goal, and taking actions that align with that vision. And the journey to home ownership might seem long, but each step you take brings you closer. And I know it's going to be hard if you and your partner or your family argue about the goals. So I would like to refer you to the previous episode, episode 53, Home Buying Stress, where there are practical tips that were shared with us by a mental coach, where you can overcome that type of stress. So even if you're not yet in the home buying journey, but you're already having that conversation, tough conversation with the family, like, you want to have this, but they don't want to. I've heard of this, The say, for example, the wife wants to buy a home, their first home, the husband doesn't want to. The husband wants to go back home to the Philippines. And that's really heartbreaking, because you work hard and you want to see the result, the product of your hard work here now and experience it here in New Zealand because you're here. But then the other uh, the other party would like to do it back home. It's really hard. So watch the 53rd episode if you want to, so that you will gain some practical tips on how to overcome that stress and how you can build that good relationship with your family, especially because it's really hard to move forward without unity within your circle. Okie dokie. So, if this resonates with you, this topic especially, I do hope you please like and subscribe to my channel or follow me on Facebook and share these episodes with others who might find this helpful. And by the way, this not mindfulness, sorry, manifesting thing doesn't only apply for your first home buying journey, but also applies to whatever you set your eyes on to, say, career, relationship, what else? Marriage, yeah, relationship or marriage, um, raising kids, anything. This is very generic, but I just made it more specific to home buying because this is our podcast anyway. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Until next time, keep envisioning, keep believing, keep moving towards that dream home, and keep growing yourself. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.